What's happening, lads and lassies? It's Ocean from the South Stand, back again with another video, and I'm happy to say it's Black Friday, baby. You know what that means. 20% off over on the southstandclothing.com with loads and loads of new t-shirts out, plenty to get your hands on. We've got hats, we've got crew necks, hoodies, prints, mugs, all sorts. Get yourself a Christmas gift sorted to 20% off using the code HAWAY20. Before we get into this one, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to get involved in the conversation. I love building this little community over here on YouTube. It's been good so far. We've got people commenting every week. Let me know their thoughts. Let me know what happens in the football. And just to be honest, I'm enjoying talking to people about Sunderland, because now that I've moved to Australia, I don't get much of a chance for it. So it's been brilliant so far. Now, let's get into what we're all about on this video, which is the Bournemouth preview. Bournemouth, a team which really truly started the year absolutely flying, a team that's so admirable in terms of how they're ran, in terms of their head coach as well. I mean, Iraola is making a true name for himself, not only in English football, but in really European football, getting plenty of eyes over in the work that he's doing at Bournemouth. And for a long time, we've seen them sat in second and third place, a lot like ourselves, which is still a mental thing to say. I still don't take that for granted, being a Sunderland fan, that we even get to enjoy being, seventh in the Premier League right now. But yes, we're joined by Bournemouth, who are sitting just below us in 8th place, having coming into this game on the back of one draw, 1 win, 2 draws and 2 losses in the last 5, which, funny enough, is the exact same as their away record so far this season. So not been able to find a great deal of form on the road, but at the same time, if you look at the last game against West Ham at home, managing to come back from 2-0 down is certainly not an easy Bournemouth team to beat. And we're looking at a team that, even just from the first game of the season, they really showed us what you could do against Liverpool at the start of the season. The likes of Antoine Semenyo just absolutely flying so far this year. But speaking of Antoine Semenyo, not 100% confirmed that he'll actually be making an appearance at the Stadium of Light this weekend due to, I think it's some sort of like ongoing ligament damage problem that seemed to have get re-triggered whilst on international duty with Ghana. Along with Antoine Semenyo, they're also looking at having Ryan Christie, Ben Doak and Justin Cliver out. So massive players for Bournemouth, all that play their own roles. Of course, being Scottish, Ben Doak and Ryan Christie are players that I've seen a little bit more of. I actually think Ryan Christie's been one of the most underrated players in the Premier League for the last few years. So unfortunately for his injury, of course, I'm kind of glad that I won't be seeing him at the Stadium of Light this weekend. Injuries aside, we're still looking at a Bournemouth team that's just incredibly well-rounded. And honestly, I don't know how many of you guys watch much of the Premier League games out with Sunderland. I know myself, over here we get it so good in terms of getting to watch the games. Like, I honestly get a better viewing experience of the Premier League now that I live in Australia than I could have ever got in the UK. And I can watch all these games on replay super easy. So Bournemouth, for me, has been one of the most exciting teams in the Premier League this year, and I don't think there's too many people that would disagree with that. I think every single game that they play, pretty much they're in it. Of course, looking a few weeks back at the game against Aston Villa, they got absolutely walloped 4-0, but I don't know, you could probably make your arguments that it wasn't quite a 4-0 game, to be honest. But we're looking at a Bournemouth team, as I said, that are just incredibly well-rounded. This partly down to just personnel. I mean, as I said, it's an admirable team because it's not filled with names that people go, oh wow, like they need to play for me. They all work their absolute socks off. They're all completely bought on to what Iraola is doing. And yeah, like we're talking about players like Truffert, who's came through this season absolutely flying up and down that left wing. And you would think after Milos Kerkez went to Liverpool that was going to be quite a large spot for them to fill. But I think the seasons went a little bit different for Truffert and Milos Kerkez so far, because he seems to be flying so far at Bournemouth. And I think what's impressive about this Bournemouth team, they don't have just one way to win. They are quite comfortable realistically playing any sort of way that they need to. We've seen it against the likes of Liverpool, where they were able to play explosive on a counter-attack. But then again, we've just seen their quality pull through with the likes of Semenyo against Leeds and, you know, a whole host of other games there. So yeah, we're looking at a Bournemouth team. If we look at them as a team that's going to line up as they did against West Ham. Now, this was the last lineup when they played West Ham. Petrovic in goal, obviously, a player that we have flirted with in the past. Of course, ended up on Robin Roos, and I don't think any of us will have many complaints about that. Then, of course, Adrian Truffert in left-back role. We've got Cook in right-back, Senesi and Diakite in the centre-halves. Tyler Adams in midfield, paired with Alex Scott, which, this is what I mean when you talk about players that they wouldn't necessarily set the world alight in another team, but they're so talented, so technical, so hardworking, and just as a group, the likes of them paired with Marcus Tavernier, Krupe, who another one that's just exploded onto the scene for Bournemouth this year. Again, Sunderland should be looking at the likes of Bournemouth in terms of how well run they are at the recruitment, their ability to keep on producing talent. That's what Sunderland aim to be. I think that's what we are. But it's kind of a clash of two teams this weekend that really, in terms of their structures and their cores and how they're run and how they plan to be run in the Premier League, two very similar teams. Obviously, we've got Brooks and Evan Nielsen to finish off that team there. Now, as I said, it's a Bournemouth team that's just incredibly well-rounded in terms of they can play wide, they can play through the middle. You know, they've got, if the likes of Semenyo are able to play this weekend, they do have those individual talents that are able to just tear you apart like that. And Semenyo is one that, of course, our Sunderland fans will be hoping doesn't quite make an appearance. But this Sunderland team is really this Sunderland team and how we look to set up this weekend is what I really want to focus on. You're talking a game against Bournemouth this weekend has to be played with 4 at the back. I do not want to let these midfield players get their way through the middle again. I just don't think that we're able to compete in terms of... I don't think we're setting ourselves up in the best light when we're asking the players to defend against 3 players. One, the likes of Krupe, as we said, who's just been electric this year, is looking for goal at every opportunity or looking to help set up something. And the likes of Tyler Adams and Alex Scott, who are able to compete in that middle. The 3 of them together, I don't want us to get overrun in the midfield again like we did at Fulham. It's very Fulham-esque in a sense that just loads of tidy players are able to play through the middle if you let them. I don't want to let them, because if you get the ball up to Evan Nielsen, if you get the ball to Krupe through the middle, they'll punish you. And I think Bournemouth are the type of team where we can let them come at us, but we just can't. This can't be a repeat of the Fulham game. That goes for, I say that in more ways than one as well, energy. We've seen it in the last few weeks. Bournemouth have went behind in the first half. Pretty sure. Let's have a quick look just now. So... obviously, they went behind against West Ham. Then the game before that, I believe, was the Aston Villa game. Yeah, so the game before that, Villa, 4-0 to Villa. Multiple of those goals coming in the first half as well. Yeah, 2 of those goals coming in the first half as well. Then you go into the Man City game. Of course, you look at Man City and say it's a bit of a different beast. But Erling Haaland, again, able to get 2 goals at 17 and 33 minutes in. So... Bournemouth are seeing a lot of action in that first half, and if you're able to come out with energy, with excitement and with purpose, you're able to probably get a goal against them in that first half. And I believe back at home at the Stadium Light, that's got to be what we'll see. That's got to be what we see again, and I do think it will be. I don't think this team are the type of team to pull up like that 2 games in a row. And the thing is with Fulham, as I said in the last video, for me, isolated a game against Fulham, I think Sunderland and Fulham can play each other 10 times, probably win half of them each. I don't think it's a massive deal that we got beat off Fulham last week. Like, I think they're a well-established Premier League side with a great coach and with those little tidy players. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's that big a deal that we got beat off Fulham in the grand scheme of things. But obviously, having watched that game, I'm sure you all agree, it was just the lack of energy, the lack of showing up to go for it. As I said last week, I don't know if it was the long journey off the back of internationals. I don't know if it was the weather, away games, not playing in front of the Stadium of Light. I'm not sure, but just that little lack of energy that we've seen. We've seen it against Man United. We've seen it against Everton at home. Sunderland this season have gained nowhere near what they could have from the games they have when they've started like that. As Granit Xhaka said, or Enzo Lefebvre said, the games there was won and lost within the first 30 minutes against Everton, and I don't want to see that against Bournemouth again, because they're the type of team that could just whack 3 or 4 on you. They can whack 3 or 4 if we leave ourselves as open, because we've seen it last week against Fulham. They had plenty of chances, they just couldn't convert them all. Hence why they only won 1-0 in the end. So yeah, I need to, this week against Bournemouth this weekend, I think we need to see a more compact midfield. For me, that obviously comes more naturally when you play in a 4-3-3. If I was choosing my team lineup right now, let me sit to the side a little bit. My team lineup right now, let's pop it right here. So this would be my guess. I'm going to assume that Alderete will be back in from the start. I spoke last week at length in my video about, for me, the what he brings to Sunderland in terms of playing out from the back, not only being a left-footed option, but actually go quickly through the middle with accurate passes more than any of our more than any of our other centre-backs. Of course, it's a play style thing. Regis is setting them up to go ahead and get the ball long, get the ball quick and win the ball, the first or second ball, go direct, get it up the field and then play out with width. But for me, like we've seen it against that Wales game and that disallowed goal where Alderete passes it to Alderete plays it into Siddiqui. Siddiqui plays a beautiful ball through to Wilson Isidore. Of course, the goal goes on to be disallowed due to being offside, but I just think it's a part of our game at the minute that we are really lacking is that ability to play through the middle. I don't know if it's all tactical choices from Regis Lebris to only kind of try and play it out wide, but I just felt we were leaving Wilson Isidore so isolated in that centre forward position last week, in particular against Fulham, with the 5-4-1 being so low, being so kind of flat. There was offering no numbers through the middle. I don't think we offered a great deal of kind of breakout options to go out on the counter attack and break with pace. I don't think we offered too much of that because of how we were set up. Those two banks of 5 and 4, I just don't think it did enough for us. In Sunderland, in our most dominant features, in our most impressive fixtures this season so far, we've played with support up front. We just have, whether it be Enzo Lefebvre coming into the middle to offer that extra number through the middle, to offer the creativity through the middle and allow the likes of Ronaldo to bomb out wide, whether it be the likes of Mukiele or Dan Ballard pushing up as far as they can and trying to get alongside Wilson Isidore to help him have some sort of to help him and support in those long balls and going direct. Of course, it doesn't always happen, but just progressing the ball up the field with our defenders, with our midfielders, not being afraid to just look up and go forward. I think, as I said last week, we had a bank of 5, and then we had Xhaka and Siddiqui in front of them that just didn't progress up the field anywhere close to what we need them to be effective in attack. The only ones that were effective in attack really were Traore and Lefebvre. And Wilson didn't have half a chance to be effective in attack because he was so isolated in the middle with the wingers being left with so much to do. So yeah, coming into this game against Bournemouth, I think we just need to reset back to what was going well just a few weeks ago. For me, 4-3-3, as I said, 4-3-3 for me allows us more attacking options, a natural attacking options. Although I say using our defenders is what's brought us success so far this season, I don't think any long-term sustainable plan can be built on only offering that support through your defenders, because it's always going to leave you missing at the back. I think we need to look for other options in terms of being able to build up in more ways than one. When we get past the halfway line, what are we doing with the ball? Who's offering that support in the middle and where the ball is going? I think the best examples of that is when we've had support in there, with Lefebvre dropping in, with Trey Hume coming in, with Granit Xhaka or Noah Siddiqui being a shining light against Chelsea. He offered so much just on an edge of that box, dribbling, making himself a nuisance. That's what I want to see from Sunderland this weekend. So yeah, this is my team up on the side here. We're going to go for Ronaldo left back, Alderete and Ballard in the middle, followed by Mukiele at the right. I think it's hard done by for Trey Hume, to be honest, to be missing from that lineup, but I think we need to look at having more options going forward now. Of course, staying with the brick wall in the middle that is Granit Xhaka and Noah Siddiqui. For all I say that I don't want to be overran in midfield, I don't think we were overran just because, but I don't think we were overran because we're poor in midfield. I think we were lacking numbers and we were lacking a bit of energy. That we can fix. For me, we look at having Enzo Lefebvre through the middle, Talby on the left, Traore on the right, and let's stick with Wilson just now with a bit of support. And if it's not working with Wilson through the middle, if we're unable to get him on the ball through that, bring on Brobbey, because you're talking about a guy who's elite when it comes to holding up the ball, so give him a chance to hold up the ball. And I've said so in the last video that I made. I think Brobbey, if you were able to get Mayenda on the field, so say 60 minutes in, we're able to take off Bertrand Traore, bring on Mayenda on the right, have Brobbey through the middle, Talby on the left. I do think Talby could get past the 90 minutes with Enzo Lefebvre sitting just in behind him. That, for me, the ability for Brobbey to bring those players into play, it would just be brilliant. So yeah, this is the team I'm going to go with. This is my starting lineup, and as I said, those are the players I'll be looking to bring on. And for me, Sunderland this week just need to come back with that energy that we've seen, get into winning those first balls, get into winning those second balls, and just attack with intent. I do truly hope that we're able to bring on Romain Mundo in this game. I think we'll be needing that person who's happy to naturally cut in and try and go for goals himself. That man is not shy of looking for goals. So I'm looking forward to Romain Mundo getting back in action, and hopefully we can see some minutes for him this weekend. But other than that, look, I think we know what the best of Sunderland has been this season. Let's see more of it. Let's see more of those options. And let's see a little bit of what Enzo Lefebvre back through the middle. Let's put him really to the test, because we've seen him out wide, but we can't have our only creative option being a winger who's not always desperate to shoot. That's my one thing with Enzo. I think there's plenty of times where he could be shooting and he's not. He's off on the pass. Take the shot, mate. We need the goal. Take the shot. So yeah, look, folks, that was a little bit of a quick one. Not a great deal of detail in that today, admittedly. I'm just kind of excited, and I wanted to get on and let you guys know about our Black Friday deals. So go on, check out the southstandclothing.com. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. What's your score prediction? I am, if I be honest, my head's saying 2 each again, but my heart's saying 2-1. And we're going to go with 2-1. How are the lads? So yeah, get your score predictions in the comment below. How do you think we're going to go? What would your starting lineup be? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to get your 20% off. The discount code is HOE20, southstandclothing.com. I'll catch you guys in the next one. How are the lads? Come on.